last Mexicano to hold that gold strap. She almost lost it. What do they do with that judge, you think, Chin?
I would love for them to actually no, to be put on like a post-fight press conference on a panel.
Me too.
Yeah, just to interview him. Like, what were you thinking?
It would say Mike something.
Mike Bell.
Mike Bell. Quick question from Mike. Trying to be cool here, not freak out. How'd you get to 10-8? And then let him explain himself, and maybe to open people's eyes. Why they don't do that, I don't know. I like Don McCruz. Like, well, we're heading in the right direction. At least we're showing his name, so he can get harassed online, I guess. You know, because they have to take some sort of accountability. I just want to.
That's what's happened. Everything's become the preciousness of each thing having an individual value has been removed because they're just throwing shit out.
Just throwing it, yeah, throwing mud at a wall.
They're throwing shit out.
Is that happening with movies, you think?
Totally.
It is, huh?
Totally.
A few moments later.
It says teases Hellboy 3. Is that real? Or is that just gossip?
I'll tease anything you like.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
I'm like every cab driver in New York. I'm just trying to make a living.
That's it.
Good year, 2007.
Sons of Anarchy. I mean, one of the greatest shows of all time.
It was a great show.
I think what's interesting too, Ron, is I'm glad you came in here because sometimes, like, you're a badass on there. You know, like you're such a badass.
That was just acting.
Yeah. Then when they were creating that, was there any sort of conversation or connection to the actual biker gangs?
Oh, was he went up to Northern Cali and hung out with the Hells Angels and immersed himself in their world. Because he, you know, every time we had ever seen a depiction of biker clubs, they were always one-dimensional. They were always fat guys with beards, you know, spitting and, you know, filling up women, you know, and pissing in, you know, public and, you know, like.
In a spot at the Laugh Factory, and I see, I read all the books on biker gangs. I know my biker gangs, and I see this group of biker gangs in the back. I'm at the Laugh Factory.
Grab bikers, yeah.
A good amount of them. I see them in their patches. I won't say what gang it is, but I recognize the logo. I'm like, oh, shit, man, bike gangs. So I get off stage, I'm waiting for my car outside. They come out, they follow me out. And I'm like, oh, when I was a UFC fighter, I was supposed to do this appearance in Colorado Springs. And my manager calls me and goes, you can't go. I'm like, what do you mean I can't go? It was a paid gig and I have a lot of money back then. I'm like, what do you mean I can't go? He goes, there's a biker gang meeting, a Hells Angel meeting, and one of their enforcers put a bounty on you. He says he can beat you up. Like, what?
He can fight you.
Yeah, he wants to fight me. I'm like, I don't want to be part of that. He's like, it's the sheriff called us, said you can't go. It's not worth the risk. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I thought maybe when I walk out on the street of Sunset, I'm like, oh, hopefully they're not trying to fight me. And they're all out there and they're fans. And my first question I said to him, I go, hey man, I'm not even trying to overstep here. I go, but I love Sons of Anarchy. I was like, how realistic was that? He's like, pretty spot on, man. One of the guys goes, pretty spot on, man.
Did you ever get approached by any of the Hells Angels, any of those guys?
Well, while the show was...
Great
Who do they have? That's what's
Ron Perlman.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Huh.
Poor bastards.
I thought you were serious.
They're all going to
I had so much respect for you. I didn't want to fire back. But I was like, oh, wait, yeah?
Yeah, they're all going to grow up to be Edward Scissorhands. You know, like fucking freaks, you know, like goth freaks and shit. Who, you know, guys who wear lipstick. And, you know, that's, you know, the human condition that has changed. And this is my big thing across the board. What has changed?
When we were growing up, when Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith or whoever it was came out with an album, you saw the album. There was art to the album. You listened to every song. There was an A-side and a B-side. And it was a body of work that you took into context. It was actually even thematic, the way they would arrange the songs, because they knew we were going to, and there was a physical aspect to it. You had to, I remember my dad taking care of the, keep the dust cover on the turntable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a delicacy, and it meant something.
It was a big thing to go buy the album, but also the reason they did that is they made their money based off those album sales. Now, music artists like Drake and those guys that are the streaming, they don't make much off streaming. They make their money off live touring and merch.
Yes.
So that there's no value in putting that great artistic effort into a sweet album cover or a hard album because it's out. They stream it, and then the kids move on.
There was
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, as long as I've been doing it, I'm not interested in that. You know, the wave of booking a big guest and you have nothing in common with them just for the views. I don't. There's no longevity in that.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd rather do a podcast with my friends and it gets less views. I'm good.
But
just from like bullshitting on the floor whenever
This
we
was a
run
Muay
into
Thai.
each
He was a world champion Muay Thai guy, and he was.
And what was his name?
Jewish guy.
Jewish guy, Harold Diamond.
Harold.
He was in the Stallone movies. He was Sasso's trainer, but he was a legit fighter. He actually fought in what's the center in the Bangkok?
In Thailand?
Yeah, the big stadium.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. In our field, in stand up. So Shane Gillis, number one special, number one special. You have a week now. It's not like when Eddie Murphy dropped a special, George Carlin, where you're talking about it for the next 2-3 years. We're even talking about Eddie's now.
Talking
and
about
George
now.
Carlin.
Yeah.
Now, think about it. Some of these great specials, you have a week, man.
A week.
And then, so to my thing, why do it? I'm calling all of Spokane. I will be there this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Spokane Comedy Club. Best believe you better get there. Now watch this drive.